Mode 1.
You know, first off, I want to say thank you to my Patreon subscribers as well as some non-Patreon subscribers. As everyone knows, yesterday was my birthday, and I had a lot of guys that were nice enough to send me PayPal birthday gifts. I received some PayPal gifts as low as $5 to $10 and as high as $50 to $75. Which I thought was really cool, really generous. Particularly from my Patreon subscribers, because they're already paying me a monthly fee to be a Patreon subscriber. But yet they went above and beyond that and sent me, monetary birthday gifts through PayPal. So I want to say from the bottom of my heart, that was super duper cool of you guys, man. Super duper 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 cool. I love you guys. I adore you guys. You know, if you're a loyal follower of mine, supporter of mine, Alexa's talking.
This is a reminder. Sky consultation. This is a reminder. Sky consultation.
Okay, what that means is this video cannot be more than roughly 25 minutes. Because yes, in approximately 25 minutes, I have to conduct a Skype consultation with a client. So I'm going to try to get to the point. No long rambles or digressions. I'm going to try to get to my, there's 2 or 3 things I want to talk about. And then I'm going to just end the video. Number 1. Now, there's a lot of stuff I talk to that applies to men of all races and ethnicities. Matter of fact, I would say that's probably 90% of the stuff I talk about applies to men of all races and ethnicities. But because I am a black male, there's some stuff I'm going to talk about that's going to deal specifically with the black community. And I find myself being sometimes a participant on live streams that are hosted by black male YouTube personalities. I've been the subject of a lot of chatter over the last 48 hours. And everything started with my last video on Monday. As I could have predicted, that video left a lot of people feeling some kind of way. It left a lot of people in their feelings. A lot of people in their feelings. I would say particular emphasis on black men. I think even some non-black men might have been in their feelings too, on that video I did on Monday. But definitely a lot of black men was in their feelings when I was talking about men who come from family dysfunction, where they had a dysfunctional relationship with either their biological mother and or their biological father. So there's this young brother named Ramil who was doing a live stream, kind of doing a response live stream to that video. But what he did, he changed the title of it. He totally changed, and bless his heart. I don't have nothing personal against Ramil. I actually like the young brother because we had a spirited debate. He never called me out my name. He was never disrespectful to me. We just had some major philosophical disagreements. Now, there was another black male YouTube personality that came on that we went at it. It got intense because he slandered my name, which now he has the grounds for me to take him to court. That's another story for another video. But going back to Ramil, he changed the whole theme of my video for Monday. My video on Monday was basically this. I said, if you come from a family background where your parents were divorced or never married in the first place, and above that, you had a dysfunctional or non-existent relationship with one of your two parents, if not both of your two parents, I basically made the argument that, of course, you're going to hate on the idea of true love. And of course, you're going to hate on the idea of long-term relationships and marriage. Of course you are. Because what's your role model for it? You haven't seen the happiness side of that. All you've seen is the dysfunctional and negative side of it. So that was the essence, the gist of my video on Monday, is that if you are a man, not just a black man, but any man, if you're a man and you come from a background where either A, your parents, their marriage ended in divorce, or B, they never married in the first place, your biological parents were never married, legally married in the first place. And on top of that, because of that, you ended up having a dysfunctional and or non-existent relationship with either your biological mother, your biological father, or both. I basically made the argument that, of course, you're going to be a hater and harsh critic of the concept of true love, long-term romantic relationships, and marriage. Now, this young brother, Ramil, he took it to his channel and turned it into Alan Roger Currie is now saying that pumping and dumping is dysfunctional when originally he was promoting pumping and dumping. That was the argument he made. He said Alan Roger Currie, dating coach Alan Roger Currie, is now trying to brand the concept of pumping and dumping as dysfunctional when he's made a career off of promoting pumping and dumping. Now, again, I said I got some love and respect for this young brother Ramil because he never called me on my name. He never blatantly disrespected me. But one thing I'm going to have to do to you, Ramil, is you're going to get your first Alan Roger Currie. You know it's coming. Insert dog face here. I'm going to make some of the same arguments I made on his channel, but I'm going to just keep it briefer for the sake of time. Number one, I have never, ever, ever promoted pumping and dumping women. Ever. Anybody who says I have, I did, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. End of story. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And see, this was over half of the basis for the spirited debate between the young brother Ramil and myself. See, Ramil and some of his cohorts and members of his generation, they think if you just engage in casual sex, period, if you just engage in one or more episodes of short-term, non-monogamous casual sex, period, that means you're pumping and dumping a woman. That's not true. And again, I'm not going to keep it lengthy, but I'm going to just say that's not true. They're trying to redefine what pumping and dumping is. That's not pumping and dumping. And the main reason why it has to do with the word dump. See, you can do your own research on Google. I have. To dump a woman means this is the official definition of dumping a woman, is when you're in a romantic relationship with a woman, and you abruptly or unexpectedly end that romantic relationship, which can include marriage. That is the true definition of dumping a woman, is when you are engaged in a long-term romantic relationship with a woman, or a marriage with a woman and you abruptly and unexpectedly end that marriage or long-term relationship. That is what it truly means to dump someone. I don't do that shit. I don't encourage that. I don't promote it. I don't condone it. When I have casual sex with women, I tell them from the get-go, all I want to do is fuck you for X number of hours, X number of days, X number of weeks, or X number of months. I let women know that up front, specifically, and straightforward. That's actually what Mo 1 is. Mo 1, you can say in simple terms, is the antithesis of pumping and dumping. It is the antithesis of pumping and dumping. You know, up until 2 nights ago, you know, the only people who tried to bring that argument to me was women. I'm shocked that a man would try to make this argument. If you've been following me since my Blog Talk Radio days, I remember specifically I had 2 women on my Blog Talk Radio show that tried to make the argument. One was a blogger named Clarice Thorne, I want to say her name is, Clarice Thorne, a Caucasian woman. And another was a black woman named Sophia A. Nelson. And both of them tried to make a similar argument to Ramil. They basically said, well, even Alan, even if you let a woman know up front, specifically and straightforwardly, that all you want to do is have casual sex with her for 2 weeks or 2 months, you must know that inevitably she's going to catch feelings and she's going to feel disappointed or even heartbroken when you end things. And my simple response is, that ain't my problem. That ain't my problem. If I tell a woman up front, hey, all I want to do is have casual sex with you for the next 3 weeks, and then at the end of those 3 weeks of casual sex, I say, okay, bye-bye. How can she accuse me of dumping her? If I had to use an analogy that I've used before, most of you are familiar with what's known as temporary employment, temp assignments. When I lived in Los Angeles, I did a number of temporary employment assignments. When you get hired for a temporary employment assignment, it could last 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. But they tell you up front that at the end of your assignment, your employment is going to end. It's going to end. So what does that mean? When your temporary assignment comes to an end, can you accuse your employer of dumping you? No. Unless you're stupid. Unless you're stupid. You couldn't accuse your employer of dumping you. Because when you have a temporary employment assignment, they let you know up front that after X number of days or X number of weeks or X number of months, your employment is going to end. So for all those who are saying, well, Alan, for all practical purposes, Mo 1 and just casual sex in general is synonymous with pumping and dumping, I hate to say this, I hate to be harsh, you're stupid. You're uneducated. Plain and simple. You're stupid, you're uneducated. That is not pumping and dumping. Again, the true definition and concept of pumping and dumping is when you lie to a woman, you mislead and manipulate a woman, you toy with a woman's emotions and string her along. Basically, you give a woman the impression that you desire or are open to having a long-term, emotionally profound, romantic boyfriend-girlfriend type relationship that has the potential to lead to marriage. But then after X number of days or X number of weeks, you just unceremoniously and unexpectedly say, hey, you know, this ain't working out. I'm going to end things. That's truly pumping and dumping. When you know from the get-go that all you want is a few episodes of short-term, non-monogamous casual sex, but you give a woman the misleading impression that you either strongly desire a long-term relationship, which would be flat out lying. That's what I call mode 3 behavior. Or you give a woman a misleading impression that at minimum you're open to upgrading to a long-term romantic relationship. That's what I call being vague and ambiguous, which would be mode 2 behavior. Yeah, when you're vague and ambiguous, you don't flat out lie and tell a woman, hey, I definitely want a long-term relationship with you. That, again, that would be mode 3. If you went up to a woman named Linda and you know you wanted just casual sex, but you tell Linda, hey, I am definitely interested in having a long-term, emotionally profound, romantic relationship with you. And she says, okay, great. But then after you fuck her 5 times, you just dump her. See, that's mode 3 behavior. You just flat out lied to that woman. Mode 2 is when you're vague and ambiguous. You don't specifically tell a woman you do want a long-term relationship, but by the same token, you don't specifically tell her that you're just looking for casual sex either. You kind of leave the door open for both. Yeah, I refer to that as mode 2 behavior. And that's basically what Ramil said he does. Ramil said he doesn't exhibit mode 3 behavior, i.e. blatant lying to women. He said he exhibits mode 2 behavior. He said he's basically vague and ambiguous with women. That's pumping and dumping though, still. Both mode 2 and mode 3 is pumping and dumping. Mode 1 doesn't qualify for pumping and dumping. Again, I let women know specifically that after I finish having so many episodes of casual sex with you, I am going to stop talking to you. I am going to leave you the fuck alone. I tell them that even before I fuck them the first time. I tell them that. So my attitude is, if you're a grown adult woman and you know you're going to have some hurt feelings, then just say, casual sex ain't my thing. I respectfully decline your invitation. I'll be like, okay, and I'll move on to the next woman. But again, to dump a woman means to be engaged in a long-term romantic relationship or a marriage, and you abruptly or unexpectedly end the relationship, usually with hurt feelings involved. That is the true definition of dumping. I do not pump and dump. I will maintain that conviction from now until the day I die, and I don't care who tries to argue with it. I've never encouraged or promoted or condoned pumping and dumping women, toying with women's emotions, misleading and manipulating women, lying to women. I'm about balls out confidence. I got big ass balls, which means I ain't scared to say shit to a woman. I tell women specifically and straightforwardly, all I want to do is fuck you. I've literally gone up to women in my day and said, you know what? All I want you to do is suck my dick and lick my balls. I don't even want to fuck you. I just want you to suck my dick, lick my balls, and I want to come in your mouth. I've literally said that to women. That's what I call Mode 1 hardcore. Mode 1 hardcore. I got to look at the time. I got 9 minutes to go. So I can't expand any further. Second, related to that Ramil tried to argue me on. And I pointed this out on a live stream last night. Here's the dumbest thing you could do, is try to tell an author of a book what his book is about. There's a lot of stupid people on YouTube. At maximum, I would say that's stupid. And at minimum, I would say it's just blatantly insulting. It's disrespectful and insulting to my intelligence. You don't argue with an author about what their book is about. They wrote the motherfucking book. And again, with all due respect to the young brother Ramil, he was trying to tell me that, Alan, your book, Mode 1, is all about promoting, encouraging, and condoning short-term, non-monogamous casual sex. And I said, no, it's not. And he kept saying, well, no, yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. And he said, yeah, I don't know, man. You might say differently. Yes, it is. I said, no, it's not. I dare anybody. I'll pay you $200 if you read Mode 1 and you find a sentence in there where I tell men specifically to avoid marriage, avoid long-term relationships, and only specifically concentrate on the pursuit of short-term non-monogamous casual sex. You will not find that in my 1999 version of Mode 1. You will not find that in my 2006 version of Mode 1. You will not find that in my 2014 audiobook. And you will not find that in my 2017 updated ebook. I guarantee you, I'll pay you $100 if you can prove me wrong. And you have my word. I'll pay you $100 if you can prove me wrong. The only variation of my book that specifically emphasizes the pursuit of short-term non-monogamous casual sex is my ebook called Mode 1 Hardcore. Mode 1 Hardcore. I got an ebook that came out in 2007 called Mode 1 Hardcore. Now, that book is all about the pursuit of short-term episodes of short-term non-monogamous casual sex. So I'll give you that one. If Ramil was referring to Mode 1 Hardcore, then his point would be valid. But if you're referring to my normal Mode 1 book, my 1999 Mode 1, 2006 Mode 1, 2014 Mode 1 audiobook, or updated 2017 ebook, you're wrong. I never specifically and exclusively have promoted the pursuit of casual sex. Mode 1 applies to all relationships. It applies to long-term monogamous, long-term non-monogamous, otherwise known as polyamory or open relationships. It applies to short-term monogamous, otherwise known as serial monogamy, and it applies to short-term non-monogamous sex, otherwise known as casual sex. It applies in all four scenarios, not just short-term non-monogamous. So I was getting irritated when Ramil kept saying, no, now again, the one time I'll give him a pass, maybe he read Mode 1 Hardcore and he thought that I was talking about that. Because again, that's the one book I will say solely and specifically centers on the pursuit of casual sex. It's my ebook. It's a 2007 ebook called Mode 1 Hardcore. But all my other versions of Mode 1, they do not exclusively encourage, promote, or condone just casual sex and casual sex only. No, they do not. Facts. And in the last roughly 5 or 6 minutes of this video, because again, I got a Skype consultation I got to attend to. Here's an interesting, I always use this unique term called complicism, which means the blend of a compliment and a criticism. In the last few days, I've had at least a handful of guys that have offered an interesting complicism. And here was the complicism. They said, Alan, I love all your books. I love all your books. Mode 1, Who Said Again, The Possibility of Sex, and The Beta Male Revolution. I love all your books. So that was the complimentary end. But on the critical end, here's what at least 2, 3, 4 guys said. They said, Alan, I hate to tell you this, man, but for all practical purposes, you're the reason why a lot of men are anti-marriage, anti-long-term relationships, and anti-love. You're over half the reason why. Because your books do such a thorough job of exposing women's true sexual nature, their true manipulative nature, their true materialistic nature, their true sexually duplicitous and adulterous and unfaithful nature, that you have to take some of the blame. And they went on, one guy, he went and identified each book. He said, the only book I give you a pass is on your original book, Mode 1. But he said, starting with Who Said Again. Who Said Again exposes how sexually duplicitous women are. He said, once a lot of men in the manosphere found out how sexually duplicitous women were because of your book, they were like, well, shit, most of these women are closet sluts. That's all they are. They're closet sluts. I don't want to date them. I don't want to marry them because probably 80 to 90% of the women in society are nothing more than closet sluts. So he was like, Alan, you have to admit, your book, Who Said Again, has made men skeptical about marriage, long-term romantic relationships, and the concept of true love. Secondly, possibility of sex. You expose women who are manipulative time wasters, who just want to waste your time and use you and exploit you for your non-sexual time, attention, and companionship. Exploit you for your financial resources and material possessions. That has made a lot of men say, well, fuck these bitches, these materialistic, shallow bitches. I don't want to fuck with none of them. I definitely don't want to marry them or date them. Fucking materialistic bitches. So, Alan, you got to take some of the blame. And then third, they said the beta male revolution, man. You lay out how women have different rules and different criteria and forms of behavior for sexually desirable alpha males versus not so desirable beta males. They basically, you explain in that book that a woman will let an alpha male essentially treat her like shit, get the pussy without spending money on her, get the pussy without spending time with her non-sexually. But if the guy's a beta male, he's expected to spend money on her. He's expected to spend a significant amount of time with her non-sexually. He's expected to always flatter her ego and just treat her like a queen or a princess. So Alan, you're at fault. That's the recent argument I've been getting. Alan, it's your books. In a nutshell, these guys say, Alan, your books, if not all four, at least 3 of your 4 books, Who Said Again, Possibility of Sex, and the Beta Male Revolution, are at least partially responsible for why a lot of single heterosexual men in the manosphere are now have a low level of interest and motivation to ever get married, to ever engage in a long-term romantic relationship, and and believe in the concept of true love. Insert dog face here. Well, my simple response to that is, so you saying that because I expose the dark side of a lot of women, their true manipulative nature, their true materialistic nature, their true superficial and shallow nature, their true sexually duplicitous, adulterous, and unfaithful nature, that means that there's not any quality women out here? Are you misinterpreting my 3 books to suggest that there's not any quality women out here that are marriageable and dateable? If that's your interpretation, that's on you. That ain't on me. That's on you. Because I've always said, not all women are promiscuous. Not all women are sexually duplicitous. Not all women are unfaithful or adulterous. Not all women are shallow and superficial and materialistic. Not all women are hard to get along with and spoiled and argumentative and disrespectful. If you choose to believe that, that's on you. Now, recently I had someone write me and they said, Alan, first off, I want to say congratulations. I'm glad you found what you deem to be a quality woman, a quality life partner, someone who will make a quality mother to your son or daughter, and someone who you feel is qualified to be your wife until the day you die. For that, I give you congratulations, and I appreciated that. But then this gentleman went on to say, he said, Alan, but with all due respect, it kills me. A lot of guys will write me and say, with all due respect. He said, wouldn't you have to agree that the fact that it took you like 35 years to find Miss Right, wouldn't you say that's an indictment on the lack of quality women in society today? Wouldn't you have to agree with that it took you 35 years to find Miss Right, a woman who was qualified to be your wife? Wouldn't you say that represents the fact that our current society is severely lacking in marriageable, dateable women? This is just going to be a mild one, a real mild one. Insert dog face here. Let me turn the tables on you. Let's concentrate on our gender. What makes men quality? What makes men quality? This guy was saying that there's a severe lack of quality women in society. I want someone to explain to me, are there a high degree of quality men in society? Because here's the deal. You got a lot of women who have adulterous and unfaithful nature about them. But would you say that's not true of men also? There's a lot of men who are adulterous and unfaithful. There's a lot of women who are hard to get along with, have abrasive personalities. But when you have to agree that there's a lot of men who have abrasive and hard to get along personalities, there's a lot of women who are shallow and superficial. When you have to agree that there's a lot of men that only emphasize a woman's beauty and sex appeal, is that not shallow and superficial? There's a lot of women who interact with one guy primarily for his non-sexual attention, his financial provision, while also interacting with another guy just because he provides them with good dick. But when you say you men want one woman to be your personal good girl, while you have some side chicks, some side pieces, some mistresses that you just want to get a nut off with, what makes you quality? Because you're making $50,000 a year, $75,000 a year, $100,000 or more a year. Does that make you quality? No. Because money ain't got nothing to do with your moral character and integrity. What makes you quality? You got a college degree, you got a PhD from Harvard, a law degree from Yale. You think that makes you quality? Doesn't. Again, that ain't got shit to do with your moral character and integrity. It ain't got nothing to do with your ability to raise healthy, functional children. What makes you quality? What qualifies you to be any woman's husband, loving, romantic husband? What qualifies you to be the father to a woman's children, son or daughter or both? What makes you special? And as far as me, I haven't been looking for Miss Right for 35 years. For the vast majority of my adult life, I was only interested in short-term, non-monogamous casual sex. Why? Because among other reasons, in my 20s and 30s, I wasn't financially stable, financially sufficient enough, self-sufficient enough to maintain a long-term, emotionally profound monogamous relationship with a woman. Now, I know some men operate as house husbands. They allow their wives to take care of them. I know a dating coach who allows his wife to take care of him financially. But that's not a role I wanted to choose. I don't want no woman taking care of me financially in a long-term relationship or marriage. Because then the minute she get pissed off, what's she going to do? She going to kick my ass out the house. I had that happen before. I cohabitated with a woman in Los Angeles. And a Latin woman. As soon as we got into a major argument, she kicked me out of her apartment. I was homeless for at least a few hours. So, Alan Roger Currie wasn't together. Career-wise and financially, starting with the age of 22, 23, all the way up until like my late 30s, early 40s, I wasn't together financially. Shoot, I would say as recently as 2014 and the first half of 2015, I wasn't really together financially. I'll say it in full disclosure. I was struggling. I was adjusting to being a fully self-employed book author and dating coach. And I just like to have a variety of sex partners. So it wasn't so much it took me 35 years to find Miss Right. It took me this long to make myself available for a quality romantic relationship. Again, for most of my adult life, all I wanted was fuck buddies. I didn't really want no long-term serious girlfriend. I've had a few relationships over the years, but most of those women, the problem with most of the women I dated before my fiance is I had great sexual chemistry with most of the women I dated, but when it came to our non-sexual chemistry, it was lacking. In some cases, severely lacking. My fiance, and I've said this multiple times before, she's probably the first woman I ever dated that we've had 5-star sexual chemistry and 5-star non-sexual chemistry. That has never happened to me before. So no, it wasn't like I've been out here for the last 35 years like, damn, I can't find Miss Right. I can't find Miss Right. Again, the reality was I wasn't really looking for Miss Right. In some cases, I was just looking for a trophy on my shoulder. In other cases, I was just looking for a BDSM sub that was going to satisfy all my fantasy, fulfill all my fantasies, and satisfy all my sexual desires, needs, and urges. Nothing more, nothing less. A lot of you men need to quit putting so much emphasis on evaluating the quality or lack thereof of women and ask yourself, what makes you special? What makes you husband material? What makes you long-term romantic companion or boyfriend material? What do you have to offer that's so special? What do you have to offer other than money? What do you have to offer other than just some good dick? Good dick don't raise good kids. Good dick can make a woman have a lot of powerful orgasms, but they ain't got shit to do with raising children. Now, I know a lot of you men don't even want to raise children. And if that's your choice, more power to you. But I do. I'm going to. And I'm going to be a great father and a great husband.
Yes, sir.
Say it again.
Yes, sir.
Who's the king?
Alan, you're the king.
Say it again.
Alan, you're the king. You're dominating me.
Say it again.
Alan, you're dominating me right now. Mode 1.
Mode 1.
Daddy, can I go, please? You're the king.
Say it again.
Oh, you're the fucking king. Yes.
You're the king, Alan.
AKA the king of verbal seduction. You know, it's the tone of your voice, how seductive your intonations are, the vibrations that you could just reach out over the phone lines and stroke a woman's breast just by the sound of your voice, how you could make her pussy so wet just by the sound of your voice. That's actually very hot.
So you said my show was what?
I said your show is powerful.
Oh, say it again.
Your show is powerful.
I bet the king would fuck me really good.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie.
Oh, yeah. Who's the king?
Alan Roger Currie. The king.
The king.
The king.
I have to agree with you on the communication piece, because I actually did take a session with Alan Roger Currie, and he gave me a line that I did not think was going to work, and it worked. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh my God, man, he's the master. He's the master of the verbal seduction. He got that communication piece down pat.
It really worked. It just simply worked, and I just didn't think it was going to work at all.
Verbal seduction, man. I'm like, clearly, this guy's the Michael Jordan of seduction. Like, come on now.